I talk about DTAA between India and America, USA, it took several years for negotiation. So OECD was aware about this. Ki if we'll leave it for bilateral negotiation, it might take a lot of time. So the 15th action plan was to facilitate BEPS Action Plan 2, 6, 7, and 14. So that is why I said it is the most critical, because it is facilitating 4 other BEPS Action Plans. So further, I'll discuss. Pratik, next slide. So in case of MLI, how it works is, first of all, MLI document as a whole is signed. First signing ceremony was done on 7th June 2017, wherein there were 67 countries who signed this multilateral instrument. This is a multilateral treaty wherein various countries come together and agree upon something. Updated status as on 11th March is that currently 94 countries have signed till now. Out of these 94 countries, first is signing. Thereafter, country has to get an approval from their government and submit their final stance after discussion, after having approval from their government. So as on 11th March, around 44 countries have deposited their instrument of ratification, and definitely India is one of them. That is why we are here to discuss in length about multilateral instrument. India submitted its ratification on 25th June 2019, for which entry into force was 1st October. We'll discuss what is how entry into force is computed later on. And after entry into force, next thing is applicability of MLI. So now we are into MLI regime. So what happens is, this MLI is to be read along with DTAA. So careful analysis of provisions of MLI is required, because actually it is very confusing. Although CBDT has tried to facilitate tedious deductors by providing synthesized text, OECD has also provided MLI matching database. But for clear understanding, one should go with all these, go and read both bilateral DTAA and MLIs ratified by each country. Pratik, next slide. So we are done with introduction. Now I'll discuss regarding applicability. As I told you, there is signing. Signing has already happened. Various new countries will be signing afterwards. However, for India, India has also signed. India has also ratified. Next step was entry into force. And for entry into force, it happens, first of all, there is entry into force for MLI itself. When is MLI applicable? Currently, that is also a theoretical date. It was first day of month after expiry of 3 months from ratification by initial 5 jurisdiction. The date of applicability of MLI is theoretical currently. It was 1st July 2018. India submitted in June 2019, 20th June 2019. So entry into force for India or any other jurisdiction, if you see from perspective of that particular jurisdiction, is 3 months after the end of the month of ratification, October 2019. Now, entry into force for specific bilateral agreement. This is again another date, which is one should aware to know the applicability of MLI. Entry into force only for India will not impact its DTAAs. So if I talk about entry into force in respect to DTAA of India and UK, then it will be entry into force of India or UK, whichever is later. So from that day, that particular day, MLI for India and UK, DTAA, which is to be read while making payment by Indian resident or offering income by UK resident. First thing to be seen is entry into force for India and UK DTAA, India and UK MLI. So now I'll tell you after entry into force, first thing comes is applicability for withholding taxes. Pratik, next slide. Hello, Pratik. Next. So in respect to applicability of withholding taxes, it is from the very next what term OECD used. I'll just wait for a second.
Is it not happening?
No.
Just a second. Is this the one?
Yes. It has gone to very even the next slide, just the previous slide one, the previous to this, right? So now I'll discuss applicability in respect to withholding taxes. So this applicability of MLI, first I'll tell you, it has been bifurcated into two parts. One is in respect to withholding tax compliances. That is, if a UK resident earns certain income in India, Indian resident while making the payment has to withhold TDS. MLI, applicability of MLI differs for TDS compliances and differs for UK resident who offer the income tax while filing ITR. So OECD has used the terms uh, taxes withholding and other taxes. So other taxes means while advanced tax, self-assessment tax, that is return related compliances. So talking in respect to withholding taxes, the OECD used the word calendar year, while India opted for the word taxable period. So as per entry into force article of MLI, for withholding tax, applicability of MLI will start from the very next day, from the very next year. Hello.
Just a second. Somebody.
So I was talking regarding applicability of MLI for withholding taxes. So for withholding taxes, applicability of MLI will start from the very next year, that is first day of very next calendar year as per OECD, and from Indian perspective, very next taxable period. Taxable period for India is April to March. So whatever entry into force for a particular bilateral instrument has happened on or before 1st March 2020, all those country with MLI will be applicable with respect to India, with respect to all those countries. So here you can see, since the term used by OECD was calendar year, so under withholding tax as well, withholding tax compliances by Indian resident will be done from April of a particular year, while for another country it can be January as well. And further, if another country has opted for taxable period term, it will be starting from the very next taxable year of that particular country. Any doubt on this particular applicability by of anyone? So we can move. So now applicability in respect to other taxes. While for withholding tax, it was from the very next day. For other tax next year, other taxes, it requires a time lag of 6 calendar months. Pratik, previous slide. So entry into force in respect to other taxes will be after first day of calendar, first day of taxable period. Here OECD also use the term taxable period itself, because it is regarding taxable period. The other taxes is regarding return filing, etc. So OECD itself use the word taxable period. So MLI will be applicable for other taxes from the first day of calendar taxable period beginning after the completion of 6 months from entry into force of a bilateral treaty. So the date to be seen from Indian perspective is 1st October. Had India deposited a ratification after 30th June, for other taxes it would have delayed. But India has deposited right on time on 25th June, so applicability for India was 1st October. And for any other country, if it is 1st October or prior, for other taxes as well, MLI will now be applicable. Any doubt anyone has having regarding this?
So I have one doubt with respect to
Yes.
previous slide. So
Right.
basically, say just for an hypothetical purpose, say
Huh.
for withholding tax purpose, MLI becomes entry into effect with
Okay.
effect from 1st April 2020. So
Right.
basically for financial year 2021. Okay. For other
Okay.
country, it is becoming applicable, uh, say financial year 21-22 or calendar year 21. So means there is a time
You
gap.
can say calendar year 21, but financial year you
Yeah,
cannot say.
yeah, calendar year. Yeah, calendar year
Right.
21.
Calendar year
So,
21 you can say.
yeah, so for intervening period starting from
Right.
1st April 2020
Yes.
to 31st December 2020, how would
Hmm.
TDS application happen? So,
See,
uh,
this, right. Please complete.
yeah, so
Please complete.
basically both the ways. Yeah, both the ways. So when like somebody, so Indian resident making payment to uh, other party. So
Right.
whether previous rates, previous provisions would be applicable or the new one would be applicable.
So if I talk about from Indian perspective, then I am meaning that in respect to withholding tax, Indian resident making the payment has to comply from 1st April 2020. Now, in case for withholding taxes, applicability for UK is coming from 1st January 2021. In that case, UK resident, while making payment, has to comply with MLI provision from 1st January 2021 and not from 1st April.
Okay.
The applicability
So
for withholding tax from Indian perspective means Indian resident making the payment has to comply and not UK. For UK resident, for complying for withholding tax compliances, it might differ.
okay. So does it mean that India would apply stricter provisions of MLI while determining tax applicability, even though those provisions are not being made effective to the counterparty? So is it like that?
It's not like India will apply stricter provision for certain countries. For resident of certain countries, the MLI for India for withholding tax purpose has already been applicable from 1st January 2020 itself, while India is applying from 1st April 2020. It's the applicability for the purpose of convenience,
Okay.
because for every country, OECD, this MLI being signed by 94 countries, it cannot be same for each and every country. So MLI has been made very much flexibly by OECD so that it can go with each and every country's domestic tax law as well. Various option
Okay.
has been provided. So as I told in respect to calendar year as well, calendar year and taxable period option was provided by OECD. And as we'll see in the articles, various options are there also provided by OECD. And compatibility clauses are also there.
Okay.
Yes. Any other doubt, anyone? Can we move to next slide then?
Yes. Yes.
So I've taken one case study in respect to applicability. I've done comparison of three countries: Australia, Latvia, and Portugal in respect to India. Now, as I told you, entry into force for India was 1st October 2019. All these are actual date, irrespective of taxable period of Portugal. All these are actual dates which I have taken, so as to make it as much practical as possible. Entry into force for India is 1st October 2019, and first we'll do comparison with Australia. Entry into force for Australia is 1st January 2019, and for withholding tax purpose, Australia has accepted calendar year, and its actual taxable period start from 1st April. So here you can see, although India has opted taxable period in both the places, while for Australia, for withholding tax purpose, compliance has to begin from 1st January, while of well, for for offering tax, it will start from 1st April. So there are certain issues in this respect which we'll discuss in the coming slides. So in respect to Australia, stay on this slide, Pratik. So for Australia, date of entry into force for India and Australia will be the later date, that is 1st October 2019. And now from Indian perspective, for withholding tax, very next taxable year is starting from 1st April 2020. And for other taxes, since 6 months has completed, for other taxes, applicability of MLI will also start from 1st April 2020. That is, Indian resident while making the payment to Australian resident will deduct by reading the provision of MLI wherever TDS applicability is after 1st April 2020. Further, Australian resident will also offer the income of AY 21-22 as per the after reading the provision of MLI as well. Now, when we come to Australian point of view, for withholding tax, Australian resident will consider MLI from 1st January 2020, while Indian resident for the period March 20 to for the period April 20 to March 20 will not read MLI and will file a return as per the DTAA provisions. So here there will be while for and agent will start applying MLI from April 2020, that is year 2021, financial year 20 taxable period 2021 of Australia. So here there will be certain issues as well, which we'll discuss. Now coming to the next example, which is of Latvia. Latvia has filed ratification after India, and entry into force of Latvia is 1st Feb 2020. Latvia has accepted calendar year for TDS, and its taxable year for the purpose of other taxes start on 1st August. So date of entry into force for India and Latvia, whichever is later. Later here is of Latvia. So entry into force for India and Latvia will be 1st Feb 2020. While from Indian perspective, when it comes to withholding tax, MLI will be applicable from April 20 itself, since the very next calendar year. While for other taxes, since 6 months have been provided and 6 months have not on 1st April 20, it will be applicable from 1st April 21. So we can see a difference of complete 1 year here as compared to 3 months in Australia. And now from Latvia's perspective, the applicability for withholding tax will start from January 21, while Indian resident while filing return in Latvia has to comply from 1st August 20. So in certain cases, other taxes can be prior to withholding tax as well. So that is why I've chosen Latvia as an example. Next, third example is regarding Portugal. Portugal has filed entry into force for Portugal is 1st June 20. So April 20, it will not be applicable for India and Portugal. It will be April 21. That is from next year. And for other taxes as well. And for Portugal, for withholding taxes, it will start from 1st January 21, and for other taxes, 1st January 21. In an example of Portugal, we are saying that withholding tax and other taxes are applicable from the same date, but still there can be certain issues. I've also highlighted those issues in coming slides. Any doubt anyone is having in this case study? So we'll come to the next slide. No, the previous one, right? So I've already told the impact while explaining the previous slide that for certain country, India, it can start from 1st April. For Latvia, it can start from 1st January. So I've explained it in this slide. Indian resident to consider MLI while making payment to resident of Latvia from 1st April 2020, while resident of Latvia will consider MLI from 1st January 2021. Similar thing will be for Portugal. Next slide. Hello. Yes.
Hello. Yeah, Jatin. So, Jatin, in the case where the provisions in India is applicable from April 20,
Right.
however, the same provision is applicable for the other country or other contracting state from January 21, right?
Uh-huh.
Will there be double taxation because saving is being taxed in India as well as in the foreign country?
See, what you are talking from the perspective of MLI withholding tax or other taxes?
I'm talking
Ritik,
about the
can you go
withholding
to the
taxes,
next
withholding.
previous slide? Previous slide. Please
Yeah,
repeat.
just
Yeah, so
Previous
I
slide.
was saying that I'm talking about the withholding tax, right?
Right.
So in that case, suppose the provision in India is applicable from April 20. However, in the other
Right.
contracting state, the provision is applicable from April 21. So the India will take the stand that the WSC provision is applicable in our country from April 20, and we will withhold taxes according to the MLI.
Right.
However, the other contracting state will be doing the transaction according to the earlier tax treaties because the provision is not existing as on April 20 in that country. So will there be
Right.
not double taxation because of this happening? Because both the countries are having different stand due to this transition period.
See, it, you are saying कि India is applying MLI from 1st April 20, while for other country it has not came into applicability from 1st April 20. Let's assume for them it
Right,
came into applicability from 1st January 21. Take example
right,
of Latvia in that.
right,
Latvia will not be. So now here, while Indian payer while making payment to a resident of that particular country will see whether the person is actually able to take benefit of DTAA reading MLI along with. And if it will be the case where the person is actually not qualified to take benefit of DTAA because of the provision of
hmm,
MLI, Indian resident will deduct
right,
as per Indian tax provisions.
right,
Now, if other country also say ki no, no, you are doing base erosion profit shifting, will not give you any benefit, then there can be double taxation, which will be
right,
there in coming years of MLI. While in this particular case, which you said, there might not be because
hmm,
other country might give the benefit of DTAA and give credit as well. In case tax is applicable in that country and person is eligible to take tax credit, foreign tax credit.
okay,
But in coming years, since both the countries would have applied MLI and the person was doing base erosion profit shifting, he'll not be eligible for DTAA benefits, and there can be instances of double taxation as well.
okay, fair enough.
Right.
Thank you.
Jatin,
Yes.
just just
Hello.
yeah, just a second. So just to just elaborate the question basically. So if you keep BPS aside or GAR
Uh-huh.
provisions aside, just based on MLI provision, take an example of Article 10 amendment relating to dividend. So
Right.
as per existing provision of BTAA, beneficial rate of withholding is applicable, say 5% or
Right.
10% as per the treaty. However, with the MLI coming into force, the condition of continuous holding of that beneficial ownership for 365 days condition is not satisfied, and therefore beneficial route is not available. So going with your India Latvia example, India will deduct with TDS at the higher rate
Right.
from 1st April 2020, considering
Right.
that conditions have not been satisfied. However, the said provisions have not become applicable from the other country. Therefore, they say that uh,
Will give you
still
benefit up to
higher.
5% only.
So, not the benefit. India cannot tax my resident at a higher rate as per the revised treaty. So, uh, basically, in because according to them, the old provisions are still applicable.
Right.
And
So
again, if you look, say, Article 23 of the credit provisions are saying that credit of taxes paid in accordance with the treaty will only be granted.
right.
Therefore, if taxes are paid more than as per the existing treaty, which is applicable from the counterparty side, then whether they can claim the credit or not as well. So if you can elaborate on this.
Currently, also we face certain issues regarding income characterization, amount quantification. This issue, as you pointed out, can very well be there and actually will be there. So those who are not aware about this Article 8 will discuss it later on, but there is certain condition provided by in MLI which does not says that you cannot take beneficial rate provided in treaty. So as Pratik pointed out, that if Indian resident will deduct TDS at a higher rate, the other country can very well say, no, as per treaty, that India was only liable to deduct 5%, and since they are not deducted, will not give more than 5%. Will only give credit of 5% only. Similar case laws we have for income characterization as well currently, and various other things which are there. One country says that it's actually royalty, so I'll give you benefit as per royalty, while India might be treating it as business income, and Indian resident might deduct higher TDS. So yes, such kind of litigation can come in future.